Good evening. You're joining the State of Business on our television with me, Nishani Piguera. As usual, a look at the headlines first. Sri Lanka in a good position at the end of 2017, says CBSL Governor. P.S. Nagamage sworn in as a State Minister of Law, Order and Southern Development. In tonight's main story, responding to questions raised by journalists during the 8th Monetary Policy Review Media Conference, Governor of the Central Bank, Dr. Indrajit Kumaraswamy, noted that the Monetary Board will draw more attention towards the wage settlement issue in the coming months, which is a result of high headline inflation in 2017. The Governor also noted that in order to convert the high inflation economy of Sri Lanka to a low inflation economy, the Central Bank must have a forward-looking, proactive monetary policy. Speaking further, he noted that Sri Lanka is in a reasonably good place at the end of the year 2017.
According to the Central Bank of Sri Lanka's 8th and last monetary policy review for the year 2017, the country's economy has grown moderately by 3.7% during the first 9 months of 2017. Headline inflation continued to remain at high levels due to high food prices, while core inflation decelerated in November 2017. Tourist earnings growth was marginal as the number of tourist arrivals increased by 2.5% on a year-on-year basis, while worker remittances declined by 7.9% to $5,518.2 million during the year up to October 2017.
The Monetary Board is watching a couple of things very carefully. One is wage developments, because when you have a few months of high headline inflation, though it was beyond the control of the central bank because it was very much driven by supply disruption, while core inflation remained, which is what the central bank monetary policy has influence over, core inflation has remained broadly on track. But the headline inflation, when you have some months of high headline inflation, it can lead to wage pressure. So in the coming months, the Monetary Board will look very carefully at the wage settlements that are being effected at the beginning of the year. And the other thing is inflation expectations. I think one way you become in Sri Lanka has historically been a high inflation economy. The way we can transition to a low inflation economy is if we anchor inflation expectations. And to do that, the monetary policy formulation of the central bank must have credibility. So the central bank must have a forward-looking, proactive monetary policy. That is why Dr. Veer Singh and his colleagues are now introducing this flexible inflation targeting regime, which will help us to do that. So in our kind of forward-looking orientation, we will A, look at wage developments, and B, look at inflation expectations to influence monetary policy going forward. But at the moment, we feel we are broadly in the right place. As I said, a number of things are trending in the right direction.
Speaking further, the Governor of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, Dr. Indrajit Kumaraswamy, noted that the challenge for the country is to extricate itself from the twin deficit and to build credentials as an economy with macro fundamentals, which will result in a more robust economy.
If the US economy, there are equity issues about the tax reforms, but I think there is general consensus that the corporate sector is going to benefit a great deal, and probably growth in the US is going to increase, and the US is our largest export market. So on that basis, that's a positive for Sri Lanka. But what it can do though is if the economy races ahead, particularly if you have tax reform plus this infrastructure development package that people are talking about, that could put pressure on US interest rates. And the acceleration in the tightening cycle that the Fed has already embarked upon can have an impact on all economies, because then more money will flow into the US. So that could put some pressure in terms of capital flows, capital outflows. So that's what makes it even more important that we must have very sound fundamentals. I think, as I mentioned last time we met, the challenge for us now is to really get out of this twin deficit country basket and to build our credentials as an economy with sound macro fundamentals, so that we can retain money, that we can borrow the money we need more cheaply, and whatever money that is here, we have a better chance of retaining it. Money will flow out. I think if the US economy picks up, I think we're beginning to see money going back there as interest rates go up. The way for us to make ourselves more resilient is to make our fundamentals more robust.
United People's Freedom Alliance parliamentarian Piyasena Gamage has been appointed as the State Minister of Law and Order and Southern Development. MP Gamage was sworn in as a State Minister before President Maithripala Sirisena at the President's official residence today. Piyasena Gamage was appointed to the seat on November 10th, which was left vacant by the departure of UPFA MP Geeta Kumarasinghe after the Supreme Court ruled that she was disqualified from holding her ministerial post. Time for us to go for a short break. Stay with us for more news when we come back. Welcome back. You're watching The State of Business. A group of independent representatives of Sri Lanka has come forward and formed an independent party called the Sri Lankan Heritage Conservation Party in Colombo this morning. The party represents the social services and civil organizations in collaboration with treating all Sri Lankan citizens equally by protecting and respecting their heritage and cultural values.
දේශපාලන පක්ෂ 70ක් තිබුණත් ඒකෙන් අපි දන්න කියන පක්ෂ තියෙන ප්‍රධාන පක්ෂ කීපයක් පමණයි. ඒ පක්ෂවලත් ඒ පැත්තට මේ පැත්තට මාරු වෙලා මිනිසුන්ට මේ පක්ෂවල තියෙන ප්‍රතිපත්ති ගැන එහෙමත් නැත්නම් මේ ඉන්න පාලකයන් ගැන ඒවැ නියෝජිතයන් ගැන තියෙන පැහැදීම ගැන අමුතුවෙන් සඳහන් කරන්න ඕනේ. අපිට හොඳ විෂන් එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒ හරහා අපි ගිහිල්ලා අපිට ඔබලට පෙන්නනවා 2020 වෙනකොට ඊළඟ මහමැතිවරණය වෙනකොට ඊළඟ ජනාධිපතිවරණය වෙනකොට මේ රටේ ප්‍රධාන පක්ෂවලට යම්කිසි බලපෑමක් කරන්න පුළුවන් පක්ෂයක් බවට මේ අද ආරම්භ කරන මේ පක්ෂය අපි අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම ගේනවා.
After this break, it's a stock watch. Do stay with us. Welcome back to the show. Trading at the Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a mixed note today. The All Share Price Index gained 5.28 points to close at 6,364.34, and the S&P SL 20 dropped 0.93 points to close at 3,667.77. Turnover was 220.9 million rupees and 5.5 million shares were traded. And now let's take a look at the day's foreign exchange rates. And that winds up the show for tonight. We'll see you again tomorrow at the same time. Thank you for joining us. Good night.